We're going to take a look at 3 retirement savings questions that will help you to be ready for retirement financially. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. This is Richard with Wisdom Investor. And today we're going to take a look at 3 retirement questions that every person needs to be aware of so that they can be ready for retirement financially. We're going to look at how much retirement savings you need to retire. We're going to look at how much you need to save for retirement each year and how to make your retirement savings last once you are retired. Now, everyone has a different situation when it comes to saving for retirement. A lot of it's going to depend on our job, what type of income level we're at. It can also depend on our health issues and how healthy we are. It can depend on whether we've saved for a house and have our house purchased. It can also depend on the area of the country you live in. Take a look at these 3 questions. So stay tuned for the entire episode. We have some excellent information. We're going to get into our first question here. How much do I need to save for retirement? And so this question here is very broad. There's all types of people out there with all types of situations. Everyone's income level is different. Also, it's going to depend on our age. So let's take a look at this question here. Here's a graph by Fidelity Investments here. And this is real good here. Let's just say a person is 30 years old. Income is around $30,000. They want to save by the time they're 30, 1 times their income, or about $30,000. Let's say you're 40 years old and your income now has risen up to $40,000. You would want to save up to $120,000. And let's say you're 50 years old and you're making $50,000, so 50 times 6 would be $300,000. And if you're 60 years old making, say, $50,000, for example, that would be 8 times 5 would be $400,000 by retirement. Let's just take a look here. The averages are here. And this is on thestreet.com. This is going to be the average salary for ages 35 to 44. The average annual salary is $51,000. The average salary for 45 to 54 is $52,308. The average salary for ages 55 to 64 is $50,440. And then we have 65 and older. It drops a little bit to $47,000. So you can see the income when you get to be in the 50 to 60 area, the average income is around $50,000. So that's why I use that number. So it works out pretty good. So now let's take a look at what is the average savings for a person. Under age 35, median retirement account $12,300, average is $32,500. Age 44, 35 to 44, average retirement account $100,000. Age 45 to 55, average retirement account $215,000. Age 55 to 64, average is $374,000. The average age 65 to 74 is $358,000. Now I know there's all types of people out there that have more than that, and then there's many that have less. But this gives us a ballpark to shoot for. So when you're in your 30s and 40s, these are good numbers to try to estimate what you're going to need to save. So it's pretty good ballpark. Once you get into your 50s and 60s, something else you want to be adding in there is your expenses. What your expenses are, because you want to make sure what you're saving plus your Social Security is going to cover your expenses. Now we mentioned Social Security. Let's just take a look at what the average Social Security is. Right now for everyone in 2020, the average Social Security is $1,503 per month. So for those in their 50s and 60s, a good goal to shoot for is about $300,000 to $400,000. Now, if you're in your 30s, you've probably heard of people saying you need to have about $1 million. Well, there's going to be inflation, and you also have more time to save. So if you get started, you could achieve that goal of $1 million. Now, let's take a look at our next question here. How much do I need to save each year for retirement so I've accumulated enough money? My goal here is to try to accumulate close to $300,000. So let's take a look at a scenario here for conversation. We're going to look at a person that has earned $50,000 per year. They're 50 years old and they want to get serious about their retirement. Their after-tax income is $37,500. That's after taxes and insurance, etc. And let's say, for example, they've saved already $50,000, but they're now 50 years old and they can see that retirement is right down the road here. Let's just take a look at this. If they do a 10% savings per month, that's going to be approximately $300 per month. If they earn 6% on their money and they retire at age 67, they would accumulate $244,000. Let's just say they use 15% savings. That's going to come out to about $460 per month. And if they retire at age 67, they continue to save, that's going to grow to about $300,000. That's going to get them right in the ballpark where they want to be. And then, of course, they can also supplement their savings with their Social Security. The two numbers to think about when saving each year is either 10% or 15% per year. That will get you close to your goal. 15% seems to work better. It will get you to your goal no matter what age you are. If you're just starting out, 15% is a good goal. And if you're around 50 or so and trying to save, 15% will also get you near your goals. And again, remember, there's going to be some people, like we just saw in those numbers earlier, that don't reach those goals. And there's going to be other people who have $800,000, $1 million, or several $1 million saved up. So again, there's all ranges of situations depending on your income level and your own personal situation. Let's look at our last question here. How can I make my retirement savings last during my entire retirement? Now, this is a big question here. One of the most important questions many people ask is, where am I actually going to get my income for retirement? And then the other question is, will I outlive my retirement savings? So there's a rule called the Rule of 4, or the 4% rule, that is typically used to figure out how much or how long your money will last. There's also the Rule of 3, or the 3% rule, that can also be used if you want to be a little less aggressive or more conservative. Let's say you saved up $300,000. If you use the 4% rule, we're going to take 4% times that 300. That comes to $12,000 per year. So you're going to withdraw $12,000 per year, or that's equivalent to about $1,000 per month. If you want to be a little more conservative, you can use the 3% rule. That's going to give you a withdrawal rate of $9,000 per year. But let's just take a look at an example here. We're going to use the 4% rule. That's $1,000 per month. We mentioned earlier that the average Social Security benefit is $1,500 per month. So let's assume a person's making $1,500 per month. They could be making more than that, or they could even be doing less. If we add those up, that's going to come to $2,500 per month. So in this particular case, the person's going to want to make sure their expenses are less than $2,500 per month. And if they do that and use that 4% rule, their money will last throughout their entire retirement.